Hello, I would like to start by welcoming you all into this course, which is Mastering Machine Learning for Beginners to Advanced Level. In this course, we will look at uh, machine learning, how it's actually used, when it's used, the different types of machine learning, and so on. We will start from the very basics and we will move all the way to an advanced. Therefore, uh, regardless of your level, whether you are starting or whether you are experienced professional, you will see that you will benefit from this course. I would like to mention here that machine learning is a component of artificial intelligence, or as what they call a subset of artificial intelligence. Doesn't matter what you call it, you need to understand that it's one of the methods of artificial intelligence. For this course, I will concentrate on machine learning from a technical point of view, where I will show you how to create machine learning algorithms and models in different scenarios, different applications, and so on. There are three types of machine learning, which are major types. The first is unsupervised, supervised, and reinforced learning. Reinforced learning is a topic that is more advanced than the other two, and for me to introduce that topic, I will need to dedicate a full course on reinforced learning because that's a little bit more advanced. However, I will mention it in this course, I will explain what it is, but we will only do examples and deals with supervised and unsupervised learning. Now, this course is going to be a hand-on course, which means that you need to actually code along with me to get the full benefits of this course, because you need to live the experience of coding, you need to live the experience of facing errors, and you need to live the experience of solving these errors to produce a robust piece of code. I will show you the different components which are involved in the production of a machine learning algorithm, where is the part which is the model, the part which is loading the data or dealing with data, manipulating the data, and so on, and the final data, which is the prediction or classification, and how we can refine this to improve the performance of our model. To be able to do that, we need to have a programming environment. And in this course, I will be using Anaconda environment. And within this Anaconda environment, I will use Python and I will use Jupyter Notebook as the IDE for executing the models and for developing these models. Why did I choose Jupyter Notebook? Jupyter Notebook is widely used, it's simple, it's easy to manipulate, it's easy to actually include explanation and to view the results and to run the code, over and over again, which will allow you to carry out changes very quickly and to run the code again. To be able to do that, and for you to benefit from this course, I need to introduce Python just for the students or for the learners who don't have Python experience. I will show you that Python is just a very simple programming language, much simpler than other languages, and that's why I'm choosing it for this course. I will dedicate a section on introducing a crash course on Python. It's not a general course where I cover all Python. I will only cover the essential parts of Python. Therefore, this component will be just the principle of Python and so on, and that's all I will be starting with. And in the next section, I will be talking about the Python crash course, or I will introduce the different components which are going to be involved in the Python crash course. As I said earlier, there's going to be a section which is on Python crash course where I will talk about the different components of Python that we are going to use in our course. I will start with the basic concepts of Python, uh, what it is, the fundamental concepts, what are they, how do we actually create variables, how do we define the type of these variables, and what are the different operations that can be executed within this type of language. Then I will look at the control flow of the functions, how they are created, their structure, uh, their links, and how we can actually create blocks of code which we can call and reuse in different pieces of code, not just within the piece of code that we are working in. Excuse me. Next, I will talk about the data structure because you will see once we start talking about Python that Python is different from other languages when it comes to the data structure. It is actually have a very simple way of defining structures and for creating structures within this language. I will look at lists, how do we create lists, how we manipulate lists, and so on, and dictionaries and tuples, and how we are actually going to create them, use them, split them, recall them, and so on. Once we've gone through the data structure part, I will talk about file handling because as you can understand that data science will require data for it to actually achieve its task. Therefore, we need to be able to read data and then we need to be able to manipulate this data. And in this crash course, I will show you how we can read the different data files, how we can manipulate the data, how we can label the data, how we can structure the data, and so on for the particular case we are working on. Once we've done that, you will see that during the previous sections of this crash course that we have created errors and we have fixed errors. Therefore, it becomes very important for you when you are developing code which is going to be used by somebody else to actually include some error handling in the code itself. Therefore, I need to show you how we can include error handling in our code, which will be able to handle errors that is not anticipated by you or errors due to data that you are working with, or because data usually in data science and deep learning is huge data, and sometimes you would miss an error in this data and you need to make sure that this error is not going to cause the system to crash, because if it crashes then it becomes a problem, which means your code is not efficient and it's not reliable. Therefore, we need to be able to introduce some data handling techniques into our code to cope and produce more professional, robust pieces of code. Once we've done that, that will bring us into the introduction of the main components that we are going to be using in machine learning. And there is a lot of them, but I will start with three of them, which are the more essential for any data science test, which is NumPy, Pandas, and Matplotlib. These are actually the basic uh, libraries which every scientist uses. However, as we go on and as we start working with examples or we are building data science algorithms or models, we will need other libraries. And when we use these libraries, when there is a need for it, I will introduce the libraries, I will explain the libraries, and I will show you how to actually use these libraries. Therefore, I will make this crash course simple. I will not do all the libraries, just selected libraries, just to see that we can actually use these libraries without any problem. And you need to understand that all of these sections of Python, they need to be presented as examples. I need to show you real life examples of how these sections are actually, or these components of the language are actually used and introduced and created. Therefore, I will be creating a Jupyter notebook. I will be editing this Jupyter notebook. I will be adding and introducing code into this Jupyter notebook, and I will be executing and visualizing the results of these examples with you. I will appreciate it if you can actually create a Jupyter notebook and code along with me, because that's how you get the maximum benefit of this course, by actually practicing whatever I am introducing, and maybe even modifying and going a step further than me, uh, depending on the case that you are trying to solve. Because as a data scientist, I encourage you to create a scenario and to develop a machine learning uh, model that will actually deal with that scenario and solve a problem within that scenario for you. Therefore, it's important for you to be able to create, and that means uh, to create a Jupyter notebook, you will need to have the environment. And I didn't mention at the beginning that before we dive into this crash course, I will introduce a very small section on how you can set up the same environment as me and include all the necessary libraries and pieces of code that are required for you to run your machine learning algorithm and examples which we are going to create. Next, I will be talking about the actual machine learning course itself, because up to here, we have just been preparing ourselves to deal with machine learning. And you will see from the structure of the course that I am introducing in the next minute or so, it's actually going to start from the beginning until you actually go into the deep learning part of machine learning, and then we will take it even a step further. We will talk about natural language processing. So let's see what we are actually going to be doing in this course. Okay, in this part, I am actually going to talk about the machine learning course structure. And as you can see, there are 8 components which we are going to talk about. I will start by introducing machine learning, and I will talk about the different types of machine learning and how they are actually executed, and what are the steps that we go through to produce this machine learning algorithm or model. And as you can see, there are 3 types. There is supervised, unsupervised, and reinforcement learning. However, before we start, I need you to understand that reinforcement learning is something that huge, it's big, it's more advanced. I will mention it in this course, but I will not go in depth into this type of machine learning, because as I said, it's advanced, and I will dedicate a course especially on reinforcement learning, in which I will introduce the concepts and how we can actually develop and build a machine learning model based on reinforcement learning. The other 2, which are supervised and unsupervised machine learning, I will introduce from the very beginning up to an advanced level, in which I will show you how we can create supervised and unsupervised machine learning. I will give you enough examples, real world examples, that will make it easier for you to understand how to create the models for different applications within your environment, whether you are working for a company and you need to solve a problem by developing a machine learning which can extract knowledge and information from data belonging to your company, or you are just practicing and creating your own scenarios and building the, algorithms and models for that. To be able to do that, we need to start with the basic model, in which we will actually see what are the different components which require to actually create this model. We will create simple models from machine learning, and we will actually start adding to these models as we go on. We will need different frameworks for these models, and I will be using 2 frameworks for these different types of models. I will use TensorFlow and I will use PyTorch to make it easy. And you will see that there are little differences between the two, but they can actually both be used to create machine learning models, and they are exciting and very nice to use, and they can produce some good results for you. Next, I will talk about supervised learning algorithm. I will go through explanation of what they are and how different they are from unsupervised, uh, and how they can be utilized when we are looking at supervised learning. In here, we will look at some methods for the unsupervised, which are essential methods like regression, support vector machines, and so on. These are simple models, simple algorithms, which we will be using, and I will show you how exciting to use these things and what are the results that you can achieve from a simple algorithm when you are actually working. Once we've done with the supervised, we will go into the unsupervised learning, where we will see how we can create models which will run over data which is unlabeled. That's for you don't know which part is which of this data. The algorithm or your model, the one you created, it has to go into over this data, and it has to understand the data, and it has to learn and be able to predict or classify the data which you have actually supplied or used for this model. Once we have seen how we actually work with these different supervised and supervised model, then we will need to look at how we can select our model, how we can improve the performance of this model, how we can use optimizers, and what type of optimizers are actually available, what's best for this type of data, for this type of model, and so on. And you will see that there are too many different optimizers that can be used, which we will go through the basics, their operations, and we will see how we can use them and what are the different results they will provide for us. This will take us to a more advanced topic, which is the deep learning, because deep learning deals with big data, and nowadays everywhere around you is actually big data, and people only deal with big data. Therefore, I will need to introduce you the concept of deep learning, and this will bring us to the theoretical part of neural networks, and I will explain what neural network, I will show you how they are working, I will talk about the theory, and then we will go through a practical example of how we build a neural network, how we can modify it to make it a deep learning algorithm, and so on. And during this course, you will see that there is an accumulated knowledge that you have gathered throughout this course, which will help you to achieve all these tasks, and how simple it is to actually complete the task as we go on, even though the tasks are becoming more complicated, but you can see that it's actually achievable without too much trouble. The last component of this course will be introducing natural language processing. And as you know, natural language processing is an essential part of machine learning. And in here, we will actually develop models that's actually going to take language, and it's going to process this language and produce some knowledge from this language. For example, when you are actually asking Google to translate something for you, this is natural language processing. If you are using chat, what is it called? This chat AI, open AI algorithm, which is used nowadays for ChatGPT. Sorry, ChatGPT. If you are going to look at ChatGPT, ChatGPT is based on natural language processing. Therefore, it's essential. If you go to any support companies now, when you log into purchasing something or looking at a product on the internet, on the side appears for you a message which says, how can I help you? That's actually a bot. It's a chat bot, and it's developed using machine learning and natural language processing models. Therefore, I will show you how we can utilize all these things. I will actually couple that with some computer vision. I will show you how to build uh, uh, a chat bot, a simple chat bot that can analyze language. And when you communicate with this bot, it can actually extract information and create answers for your queries. As you can see from what I have talked about the structure of the course which we are going to be doing, you can see that this course, which is the Mastering Machine Learning from Beginners to Advanced level, is a practical uh, course. Therefore, you need to be programming uh, the concepts that I am introducing along with me, because practical programming experience is essential for you to be able to stand on your own feet, because whatever concept I have actually taught you or will teach you in this course is only good or a very good solution for the problem that I have introduced. But once you start working on a problem, you actually have different data, different models. You have to mix all these together to produce a working piece of machine learning algorithm or model. Therefore, if you practice with me, and if you go through the process of creating all these machine learning models, not just take the Jupyter notebooks that I will provide you after each session and just go through that without actually practicing yourself, then you will not be able to efficiently create your own algorithm or model. Therefore, I advise you to get uh, into the actual practical coding with me to actually fully experience uh, the knowledge and the ability to navigate through difficulties and problems and errors and produce at the end of the day a working algorithm and a model for yourself. Now, I mentioned earlier about the environment which we are going to be using, and I told you that I will be using Python within Anaconda, and I will start the crash course by helping you to set up the environment on your own machine, and I will help you to download all the necessary libraries into your environment which are suitable for the course. So when we are actually working, you will not have any problems. However, you need to keep in mind that if I forget one of these libraries and when I'm solving or creating a model or an algorithm, I needed to use uh, a library. I will show you how we can actually add that to the environment. Therefore, it's not a problem that if you miss or you leave one of the libraries out. It's simple to actually add this library as we go on. We just need to include it and install it using either conda command or pip command, which is simple, and I will show you how to do that. As I said, Jupyter Notebook is the way I will be introducing this course. However, if you decide to use something else, that's entirely up to you, and the code which we are actually going to develop together in this course is able to run in any environment you have. I have no problem with you choosing your own environment if you prefer not to use Jupyter Notebook. During this course, and all the examples and the algorithms which we are going to create, we will be using data. I will create suitable data, or I will download data from a certain location on the internet. I will provide you with links to download these data sets, which if they are downloadable from the internet, or if they are data sets that I have created myself, I will share them with you via a download link. So you will not have a problem with getting hold of the data that I am using with my own examples. You can extend the data, you can modify the data, you can do whatever you want with this data once you have it on your machine or on your Google Drive, whatever it is, and you can manipulate this data. What I'm trying to say that I will share with you all the materials. I will share the data, I will share the Jupyter notebooks, which we have created. You can download them and you can look at them whenever you are actually required to work with these. Now, next, after this introduction video, we will be looking at the rest of the course, starting from the Python crash course. And from now on, most of the videos which I will be presenting to you, courses, videos, are going to be mainly practical. However, in each video, I will spend a few minutes just to talk about the problem, about the introduction to the tasks which we are trying to do, so you understand what we are trying to achieve during that course. Therefore, it's essential to actually listen. It's essential to have your own Jupyter notebook open, and it's essential to follow the steps as I go through them to benefit from this course. I thank you, and I hope that this course is going to be suitable for you, and I look forward to seeing you subscribing to my channel. Thank you, and goodbye.